So welcome to our next chapter, or the next two chapters. We're going to do two chapters today because we need to see if our predictions were right. It's quite a dramatic point. If you remember, there's a dead woman, Harvey's gone, the knife man's obviously around. So, and you've made predictions about who you think the woman and the knife man are. So we're going to listen to the next two chapters and see if we can get some answers. Okay, so let me just check I'm sharing the sound properly. No, I'm not. Right, okay, so let's have a listen to the next two chapters. Okay.
Knife Man. At the edge of the crater, the knife man stops. He doesn't seem at all surprised to see a dead woman lying in a hollow beneath a fallen tree. Suddenly, it dawns on me. You killed her, didn't you? I say. The knife man stares at me, his eyes are cold and empty. Just by my feet is a patch of deep moss surrounded by big white flowers, almost like a nest. Without taking my eyes off the knife man, I kiss Mothka's forehead and lay her down gently on the mossy bed. I loosen the broken spear from my belt and hold it in front of me with both hands. The knife man's eyes widen and his breathing quickens as he looks from the spear to my face and back again. Not your spear, he says, quiet and dangerous. No, it's not my spear, I hiss. It's Harby's. The knife man's body jolts like he's had an electric shock. It's Harby's! I yell at the top of my voice, and I leap across the hollow over the dead woman and charge the knife man, the point of the spear aimed at his belly. The knife man catches the shaft of the spear with one hand and yanks it out of my grip. He flings it to the ground and grabs me by the throat. He lowers his face so that it's right next to mine, and I can feel his breath on my skin. Where, Harby? He yells at me, squeezing so tight I can barely breathe. The knife man flings me to the ground. I land on my torn shoulder and pain shoots through me. Coughing, gasping, I rub my throat. I roll over, try to reach Harby's spear, but the knife man stamps on my hand. I cry out in pain. He gets off my hand and crouches down next to me. His eyes glint. Where, Harby? He says slowly, like he's talking to a small child. Where, Harby? He says again, a little louder this time. I see his knuckles turn white as he tightens his grip on his knife. Harby's dead, and you. He's dead because of you, because of what you did. It was you he was afraid of. It was you he was running from. You killed him, I say. I'm trembling all over with fear and fury. The knife man stares at me coldly. Quicker than a snake, he grabs my hair and hauls me to my feet. I scream with pain. He snaps my head back and presses the tip of his knife into my throat. My blood pounds in my ears, and I feel as if I'm going to pass out. I look up at the blue sky. Images flash before my eyes, fast as a flick book. Mum and Dad and Dara, Beaky and Lamont and Nero, Wolf and Bear and Lynx, Harby and Mothka. I'm sorry, I whisper, and close my eyes. The knife man's blade presses in.
Just to remind you, it's only a story. Nobody's really being hurt. I know it feels quite scary at this point, doesn't it? But we'll listen on, and I'm sure we'll get a bit of a resolution. Okay, it's only a story. Let's keep going.
In. Word. I wait for the blade to pierce my skin, for everything to just stop. Then I feel the knife tip drop away and the knife man's grip loosen. I open my eyes and look up. He's heard something. At the same moment, he flings me away from him and I fall, coughing, to the ground. Then I hear it, a voice, faint and fragile and familiar. Charlie Murrum. I lift my head up and stare because stumbling into the glade, cut and bruised and filthy, is Harby. Harby! Harby's alive! But the knife man is charging towards him, and I try to scream Harby's name, to tell him to run fast, fast. But all that comes out is coughing. I scramble to my feet and grab Harby's broken spear, but the knife man has nearly reached him, and Harby's just standing there, looking at him, not even trying to get away. Run, Harby, I wheeze, but it's too late, and I know he'll never outrun the knife man. The knife man grabs Harby roughly by the shoulders. Still, Harby doesn't move. He just stands there, looking up at him. Then Harby says one word that changes everything. Pa. The knife man wraps his arms around Harby and hugs him tight. Pa, says Harby again. You come home, Pa. And Harby hugs the knife man right back with his bruised and bloody arms, his muddy hands gripping tight to the knife man's skins. The knife man says something in a strange, choked voice. He rubs his face into Harby's hair and kisses the top of his head. All I can do is look on in amazement, because the knife man is Harby's dad. I watch from a distance as Harby's dad examines the gash on his son's head, the bandage gone, lost in the sinkhole. And even though I can't catch all the words, I know that Harby's telling him what happened by the river yesterday. Harby points over at me. I smile at him and raise my hand in a half wave. Charlie Murrum, he says to his dad. Harby's dad looks over at me across the glade. He doesn't smile. I can't believe it. The knife man is Harby's dad. I shake my head and blow out a big puff of air. One more second and that knife man would have killed me. I know it. I hear a sad little wail. Mothka. I'd almost forgotten about her. I walk around the hollow and lift her up. She's limp and yellowish. She doesn't look right at all. Her little pink mouth opens, wide as a baby bird's beak, but no sound comes out. I walk over to Harby and his dad. They stop talking as I approach. Mothka, I say, holding her out to Harby. Mothka, he says, and I put the baby carefully in his filthy arms. He cuddles her close. My heart feels like it might burst with wishing that I'd cuddled Dara when I had the chance. Harby smiles, his eyes fixed on the baby's face. Then he seems to notice what I notice, how limp and floppy she looks, and his smile vanishes. Mothka sick? He looks at his dad. Mothka not sick, says the man, shaking his head. Mothka hungry. Harby and his dad lock eyes, as if they are communicating just by looking at each other. Ma not give milk, whispers Harby. Ma in spirit sleep, Pa. Harby's face crumples, his shoulders shake. Harby's dad nods and repeats Harby's words. Ma in spirit sleep, says the huge man softly. Then he wraps Harby and Mothka in his big, big arms. A tear rolls down his cheek and into Harby's hair. I stand at the shadows at the edge of the glade and watch while they hold each other and cry, Harby and his dad. Together they walk over to the hollow where the dead woman lies on her bed of flowers and feathers. Harby limps, his dad helps him. Harby sits on the edge of the hollow with Mothka in his arms and lets himself remember, saying nothing, just looking at the woman because she's beautiful, and because she's gone, and because she's his mum. My eyes fill with tears. She's his mum. I wonder what happened to her. Maybe she just died. Maybe the baby was born and something went wrong. I think about how things aren't always what they seem, how bad things can sometimes just happen and there's nothing you can do about it, no matter how hard you try to forget or how far you run. As I watch Harby cry for his ma, I cry too. I cry for Harby, and I cry for Mothga, and I cry for myself too, wishing my own mum was here with me.
Wow. That's a lot to take in, isn't it? Okay. Remember, if you're feeling very sad, you can talk to a grown-up. That's really important. But also remember, this is just a story. Okay. If it makes you feel sad, that's okay. But it is just a story. Was your prediction right? Did you make the right guess? I know some of you did because I've marked your work. Did you work out that the knife man might be Harvey's dad? And did you work out the lady who died was Harvey's mum? So let's wonder. All I want you to do for me today is just write one sentence on this page about your prediction. I got my prediction right. I got my prediction nearly right. And if you want to, you can make a prediction about what happens next. Okay. I will see you all very soon, and we will have another. We're going to try and get through a few more chapters this week, because I think we need to get this story finished fairly soon. Okay, guys, write your sentence, and I'll speak to you all really soon. Bye. Stop recording.